to show off the shoes real quick. Because you guys
all right, let's do it.
Jordans.
You know how we do.
I need to fix my my laces. It's okay though.
I dig it.
They're just how they came out of the box.
Morgan.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Burn Boot Camp podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Morgan Kline, and today I am joined by my good friend and also franchise partner of Burn Boot Camp, Beth Williams.
Hi.
What's up, Beth?
How are ya?
All right, so today we are going to talk about building strong female friendships, and we are both very lucky to have built a strong female friendship in one another. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and what that means to us and how you can be a good friend to other women, because that's not hard in your adult days. There's, a lot that can get in between really genuine friendships.
Yeah.
So let's just give the audience a little bit of background between you and I.
Yeah.
All right.
So, gosh. Okay. We were just talking about this. We met in 2012, like when Burn became a thing.
Yeah, like in the parking lot.
Yeah. I met Devin before you. And I remember Devin telling me about you. And I was like intimidated to meet you.
Yeah.
I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
Because he showed me pictures and like was telling me about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And like you said, like genuine friendships are hard. And so meeting women for the first time can be intimidating.
Yeah.
You don't really
Yeah.
know.
And I remember the first time I saw you, you were like shadowing a camp. And this is when I still worked at Kellogg's.
Right.
So like Devin actually like knew you much better than I did.
Right.
So I can remember coming in and like seeing you and you were hot. I was like, who's this girl? But like, I think from day one, we've never really had that like competition in in one another, or like intimidation. Like it was like once we got to know each other, we both probably felt this intimidation, but then it was like, once we got to know each other, it was the rest is history.
Yeah. That's all she wrote. It just was very natural. And yeah, to know you is to love you. And so when I met you and could get over like, okay, this is Devin's girl. And like, I got to impress her because like I'm new to this. And like, it felt good.
Yeah. So Beth and I, we met in 2012. She was a trainer and she helped our Mooresville location grow.
Yep.
At that time, it was at the Talbot Rec Center, right?
The rec center.
So she would drive up there every day. And then when I quit my job in 2013 to open the Cornelius gym, the second gym in Burn Boot Camp history, I was like, Beth, I need you. Like, so let's do this together. So her and I were two of the trainers at Cornelius. And that's when I think our friendship really started to grow.
For sure.
And, we were kind of the tag team of the 8:30, 9:30 crew. Shout out to those members that I know are still part of Burn Boot Camp. But the good old days, we were just talking about how we were the BAs, we were the trainers, we were all the things back in the OG Burn Boot Camp days. And so Beth was a trainer. And then in 2015, when franchising became an opportunity, you and Brian took advantage of that. And she's opened 2 gyms in Cary and Chapel Hill, so up in the Raleigh area. And we've opened some gyms out in Salt Lake City together. And so we've had a business relationship, but we've also been able to maintain a really great friendship.
Yes.
And I think that's so special, is because that's also hard to do.
Right.
Own businesses together, but also make sure that you're separating, your friendships with what happens in the business.
Right.
So that's a little bit of our story. Did I miss anything? There's a lot in there.
There's a lot in between. Some that can't be said. But yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it. And, we started training together. We started working out together and just became close really fast. I mean, we had some of the same goals and like ambitions and the mission of what we were trying to do just as women and as trainers. Yeah. And so that just really bonded us pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the special things about Burn Boot Camp, which is where I've developed my adult friendships, is through Burn Boot Camp, because we are all like on that same mission to empower women. Right. And when we can sniff out like people that don't genuinely want that, it's very obvious, because we're surrounded by so many people that really do want the best for one another. And there's no like spirit of intimidation or competition amongst one another, because that can happen in adult, female friendships for sure. And it's challenging.
Very.
I'm thankful that we have the Burn Boot Camp community. Like I said, a lot of my core relationships have come from that. You know, just last night we had a girls' night, and it was like all people that we've met through Burn and connected through Burn and share that common goal. But you know, in your eyes, what are the biggest challenges that women will sometimes face when, you know, they're navigating kind of getting through college, starting this new life in adulthood or motherhood? And what are those things that you think block women from really having genuine friendships?
I would say comparison, especially between women. I feel like we're so hard on ourselves. And so when we see like amazing attributes in our friends, like we can sometimes compare ourselves. From the shallow to like the deep, you know? And so I feel like a lot of times you lead with that because you're just looking at someone, listening to someone, you can like immediately start to compare yourself. But as I've gotten older, wiser, more mature, like there's less and less of that for me. Like I'm confident in me. And so now when I'm forging new friendships, I'm just trying to find other women that I just genuinely like, I care about. We have the same values, morals, ambitions. But I think that comparison, I think that happens a lot between women. And the intimidation, like I had with you, like at first I was intimidated, but it turns into like, I just want to be your friend. I think that's probably the biggest obstacle. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're spot on. And I think that we sometimes show up to new friendships like how we think people want us to show up and not in our authentic self. And then you're not real with them. And that doesn't really allow like that real connection. Whereas like, you know, if I were to try to show up any different around you back in 2012, I don't think you would have grasped toward me. Like you know, you wouldn't have gravitated toward me because it would have been fake. So I think if you're looking for friendships, like go in confident, knowing here's who I am, here's what I bring to the table. But when you try to add this fluff and like this persona of who you are just to try and impress other people, then you're never really connecting on a deeper level.
That's so true, because that happens a lot. Like people come in giving you what they think you want.
Yeah.
Or on the other side, like you go in with expectations of who the person is. And sometimes if they don't meet those expectations or if they're different, that can cause issues too.
Yeah.
So going in with, you know, an open mind, open heart, like just show me who you are. Like, let's be authentic.
Yeah.
That's when it works.
Yeah. And one of the things I've loved about our friendship is the grace we give one another. Because I think we're just also loving and understanding that life happens. You know, life happens in the middle. We've known each other for 10 years now. I've had 3 kids. You've had a kid. We've owned businesses. We've gone through so much life together. And I think that's another thing that women struggle with is they give to so many people in their life, right? Their kids, their spouse, you know, their jobs. They don't feel like there's anything left for them in a friendship and like good female friendships. And I just would challenge that because when you find the right people, like you could go weeks without talking and like pick things back up, or you could go weeks without seeing each other. As long as they're, you know, giving each other that grace, which is something I think you and I do pretty well.
I would agree with that because even if we do go weeks, you travel a lot. I travel a lot. You know, we have our day-to-day things that we're doing. But when we come back together, it fills my cup. And so I'm able to be a better friend because of what you give me and what I'm able to give you. And so having that grace for each other, like, yes, it's been 2 weeks, but like now that we're back together, like, oh, okay, like this just feels good. I agree with that.
This past year, I'm not happy to admit this, but I forgot your birthday. And it was just like, it was one of those things where like, of course, life got busy for me. And I think I got like so reliant on, seeing things on Instagram, you know, but like the day comes and goes. And I remember just the feeling I felt like such an asshole. Sorry. I know that's not a nice word, but I was just like, dang it, you know, like because I was so busy in these seasons over here, but you don't want to drop the ball with your friendships because I think friendships are so special. And then I felt a little better when our other best friend, Jen, also forgot to wish
my birthday's easy to forget, y'all. It's fine.
No, we will never forget it again. I can tell you that right now. But obviously that means like I'm not perfect and our friendship is not perfect. And I mean, thankfully you and I have never gotten in like big fights or like disagreements.
We've never even gotten in a small fight.
Controversy. Like you and I mean, it's really a genuine good feeling to not have to like show up differently around you. I have to filter myself around you. Like we're able to have challenging conversations with one another.
Yes.
Perspectives, like see each other's perspective, come together. And you didn't hold it against me because I forgot your birthday, even though that sucks. I suck as a friend. Sometimes.
No, you don't.
But I think, like, again, that's that grace. And, you gotta be able to give that if you also want to receive it.
Absolutely. And just knowing you in your heart, like, I actually felt bad that you forgot because I knew that you would beat yourself up over it more than I ever would. She
wasn't even going to say anything.
No, I was just going to let it go because that's not like an indicator of your love for me and like our closeness. And I've been there. I mess up.
So at Burn Boot Camp, obviously it's in our mission to empower women. And what does that look like to you to empower other women as it relates to building friendships?
I think loyalty. I know that's probably not the answer you might have anticipated, but I feel like showing loyalty to your friends empowers them to be who they are, to go for things that they're trying to achieve. Like if you're loyal to them, you're backing them. Like that's the best way to empower another woman. Not the like, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful today. Like look at, hyping each other up is one thing. Like I love to hype up a friend and I love to be hyped up. But when you show your loyalty through your actions and being there, like that's how I like to be empowered. Is to know that I've got the backing of my friends. Like I have a tribe of people that genuinely care about me and are loyal to me and like the integrity's there. Like that's when I feel the best and empowered by my friends.
Yeah, I agree. And when you have that tribe behind you, like you are more confident to go after things that are scary and feel confident in yourself. And so to me, I agree. Loyalty also looks like don't let other people like gossip about your friends in front of you.
I dare somebody to say something bad about you.
No, I know you got my back, you got my front, you got my sides. Like I do think that that's what empowerment does look like, because that's another thing that women like to do is they like to be great to your face, and then they like to kind of talk about you behind the scenes. And I think, this has been said many times before, but if they're talking about someone to you, they're probably doing the same, behind your back. And so I think that's part of loyalty is like, it's a standard. Like, hey, when you are talking about my friends, like it's not going to happen around me. I don't tolerate that. And it just kind of proves to everybody else what that friendship means to you. So I agree. Empowering women, be loyal. Find the people that you want to have their back and you want them to have yours. No questions asked. Like we mentioned, we've been friends for a long time. Life has gone in between, but what are the things that you and I do to nurture our friendship?
Yeah. So like you said, we travel a lot. We've got businesses. We've got children. So you make the time to spend quality time together.
Yep.
We work out together. That's fun. We high five. We struggle together. But then we also carve out time to just be together and enjoy the friendship. And so Morgan and I love to do an annual girls trip because like leading up to our friendship, I didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But now that we're able to and we make it happen, like I look forward to our trip every year.
Fills our cups.
It's like Christmas.
Yeah. We get jammies. We get matching jammies. We've gone to a different place every year. We give ourselves permission to take a step out of being a mom, being a wife, like, and truly be a friend to one another. And I think everyone deserves that. And whether it's an extravagant trip or it's a girl's day at the spa or it's a girl's shopping trip, whatever that looks like, making sure that you are taking that time to be intentional to not let life get so busy that you're not able to take a beat and have adult conversations, because our kids are little.
Yes.
And that's important to like be able to get out and have an outlet where you can not have to talk about business, not have to talk about the kids, but just talk about you as a woman.
Yes.
And your dreams and your goals and things like that. So it's important to nurture those relationships, and it's not an everyday thing because, again, like we're all busy, but you do need to nurture it or else, it can fall flat.
It does. And honestly, like no offense to you guys out there. Like, my husband's amazing. We have a great friendship. But there is something that a female friendship can give you as a female that your partner, the men in your life, like, they can't necessarily give.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to cultivate those true, authentic relationships with other women, because we get each other in a way that the dudes, they just can't
just don't get it. Yeah. No,
we different.
For sure. We are different.
We built different.
It's good that even if you're going through hard times, it's good to like have those people that like you can trust and talk about things, whether it's your marriage, whether it's, you know, things with your kids, things at work, things personally that you're struggling with. You know, it's important that the friends that I surround myself with, I can also trust them and open up to them and in a different way than your spouse or something like that. Because like you said, they're built different and they're not as emotional as us and they don't need to feel emotions as much as us sometimes. So a lot of my friendships have been through Burn because I think it's such a strong community that represents who I am. Obviously, I've helped to build it and so did you. But outside of, you know, maybe your gym community, where do you think people can find those authentic friendships? Where have you found other authentic friendships?
Through church for me personally. But I'm also like, I'm not a stranger to anyone. So I will literally be behind you in the coffee shop. And if you have, you know, some cool shoes on, I'm like, yo, nice kicks. Where'd you get those? Like, I will just strike up a conversation because I'm open to friendships. I'm open to people. Like, I feel like Beth Williams, like, my purpose in life is like to love others. Yeah. And so I like people. Yeah. And so I like making new friendships. And so I'm just open about it. Yeah. And so I'll start the conversation and just being my authentic self. You're going to like that or you're not. And you're like, this girl, and walk away quickly. And that's fine. Yeah. But then those that don't walk away quickly, I just feel like it's being open, and we always come back to it, authentic about who I am. And then just like leading that conversation to like, I always feel like other than Burn, there's not a lot of places in the world where you can get a bunch of women together and they're empowering each other and like excited for each other to succeed. Yeah. And so to show other women that like, no, this is really how I live my life. That. I can bring that outside of Burn Boot Camp and like into the coffee shop, into, you know, whatever place I'm at, and like just being open, authentic, and like starting that conversation. I feel like can lend itself to like, okay, like there's actually dope females out there that aren't competing with me. They just want to empower me.
Yes. It breaks down those walls that many of us have when we're not in an environment that you would think there's going to be other like supportive women. So when you can do that and you can show up in coffee shops and at Target and wherever you're at your kid's school, like when you lead like that, you are empowering women to say, hey, there's still some really cool women out there that want what's best for me. Whether you go deep in a friendship or it's just, you know, an interaction that you have. Yep. Absolutely. So it's all about you. It's about what you give out to the world, you're going to get in return.
There it is.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
There it is.
All right, Beth. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Guys, if you liked this episode, please give us a rating, a review. Beth and I would love that. And make sure you share this with your friends, your female friends. And thank you so much again for listening. We're going to end like we always do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.